are no doubt that people like this movie because of the tension building up and the real solid role from Gene Hackman as an NYPD detective, which is a role that gained him an Oscar. It also helps, of course, that the movie is based on a true story, which is something people often appreciate. Nevertheless, I feel that compared to such movies today as Blow, Scarface, or American Gangster, which may go more from the criminal's point of view, but are still similar movies, you just feel the movie does not hold up today, mainly because of the slow pacing and the characters involved. Especially the criminals in this movie are very poorly portrayed, and there are so many movies you have seen better criminal characters in when it comes to later movies. Here you can see the clear sign that the movie feels old, although it may not be that character driven or more towards some sort of version of an early traffic movie from 2000, but it would have worked better if it actually was character driven. When we talk about the role that Gene Hackman plays in this one, yes, it is still a strong one that gave him an Oscar, but I actually believe he played even better in the movie from 1988, Mississippi Burning, which almost gave him an Oscar, and in the movie Under Suspicion, where he played alongside Morgan Freeman from 2000. That is not to say he does not act badly in this role. I just feel he comes more full circle when he's even more this angry kind of character that feels he deserves a chance to prove that he is right in the choices that he makes. But nonetheless, I generally feel that the few people that decide the Oscar winner often give the actor the Oscar for the wrong movie. I feel that also was the case with Leonardo DiCaprio, that could have had one for both Catch Me If You Can and The Wolf of Wall Street, but got it instead for The Revenant. But of course, Gene Hackman is still solid in the role, and I can understand why he got it. But for me personally, he was even more solid in those other mentioned movies. Generally, when you make a movie about drugs, also you need a more solid groundwork. When you create the criminal environment, of course, yes, it is more from the police side of things, but in movies such as American Gangster, Blow, and Scarface, you really see the more hardcore side of the drug selling environment and go more into detail into how they operate, and that's something you could have showcased a little more to make this movie better. Because those are in turn more entertaining movies because of the way they show the drug environments of those movies, and they really show who you can trust, who not to trust, and those people you gotta be on guard against. When we talk about tension and intensity, that is perhaps the strongest feature in this movie, which is good at building up the tension towards the end in a movie that feels like one big stakeout, where you watch the criminals and spy on them to gather information so very long before making a move. Really, when you talk about tension building up with the music, I think it is even better done in some of Jean-Pierre Melville's movies, Les Samurai from 1967 and Un Flic from 1972, which is roughly around the same time as this movie came out. Because compared to those movies, the movie paces out the tension a little too slow before it all comes down hefty towards the end, and you don't feel the tension building up so much as you do in, for example, the mentioned movie Les Samurai, where you are even more ruthless in building up this dark tension mood, and you really feel it is a lot more. None of the mentioned movies can, of course, match the upbuilding tension in a movie called Cape Fear from 1991, but Les Samurai and Un Flic manages to be a lot closer than the French Connection. So yes, it may have held up in 1971 as one of the best movies that particular year, but compared to the rest of the crap today, it just lacks the pacing, it lacks better criminal characters, and I just feel that in a lot of moments it is not as entertaining as other movies dealing with drugs today. Even in a movie such as Serpico, which takes it more from the police side of view, but of course that is not solely about drugs, but it even in that movie also holds up better today against other movies. So for me this is just a 5 out of 10, and it clearly does not hold up today.